Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for being here for another video. It is time to talk about the best grass types from every single generation. If you missed the last video, what are you doing? Go back and watch it. I have a feeling that if you haven't seen it, you probably aren't subscribed. So go hit that subscribe button, hit the channel button, go watch the last one and the two before it, because you do not want to miss any of these rankings. Or watch this one first, I suppose, if you want to. I don't find too much of an issue with that, or any issue at all. As long as you go back and watch the other ones, I've got no problem. But let's talk about the best grass types in every single generation, starting with Generation 1. We're going to make this easy. We're going to make this smooth. We're going to make this quick. And obviously, iconically, it is Venusaur. Grass Poison, in my opinion, is not a good typing. I think it has a lot of weaknesses. But look at my options. Do you really think I'm going to use Parasect? Do you really think I'm going to use Victory Bell, Vileplume, Executor, Tangela? No! Of course I'm not going to do that. Venusaur is 10 times and 1 million times better than every last one of those Pokemon, period. Generation 2. Oof. Again, as I mentioned, legendaries do not count. I say this in every single video. I have to say it again just to make sure you guys don't get mad at me when I don't pick Celebi. Legendaries do not count. Meganium is the worst starter ever designed. In my personal opinion, I think Meganium could have really benefited from having the fairy type added to it like a lot of Pokemon did. I think because it was a starter, they chose not to. But Meganium is, in my opinion, one of the worst, if not the worst starter ever made. It probably is the worst starter ever made. It really is. It's bulky, it has no power, and being pure grass and not grass fairy, I think, really hurt it. And I think in Generation 6, they should have added fairy typing to it, and it would have been a little bit better. But Gen 7... Sorry, Gen 3. Why did I say 7? Where did 7 come from? Generation 3. Generation 3 had the best starters, the best 3 starters of any generation. The reason why is because I think Generation 1, while it's also very good, I think Blastoise is the weakest of the 3. I think in Generation 3, all 3 starters are overpowered. All 3 are overpowered. Sceptile is the man. He is a monster. And of course, he's the best grass type in Gen 3. Without question. Gen 4. It's Torterra. It's Torterra. Grass and ground is such a underrated typing. It gives it more super effective abilities with same type attack bonus. It gives it a couple more weaknesses, but not too much because it has the immunity to the water becomes neutral, and that's actually it. And grass becomes neutral, so I guess it loses that resistance. But, like, that's it. It actually doesn't add any weaknesses now that I think about it. So that actually works out really, really well. It has fire as a weakness. I believe because of the ground typing, bug is no longer a weakness. So it's fire and it's flying, and poison is no longer a weakness either because ground resists poison. So fire and flying are your only two... Ow! Sorry, Maya, just trying to get my attention, decided that she would chomp on my hand for a second. Are the only 2 weaknesses. I'm pretty cool with that. I got no problem with that at all. Maya, come here. Come here. She was so good on my first video, and then I decided to record another one today, and she's a menace. She is a menace. Are you a menace? Yeah? I know. You're a menace. I know. I'm going to hold you for the rest of the video. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about Torterra here. Gen 5. Whew, they had some really bad grass types in Gen 5, didn't they? Ferrothorn carries, man. Ferrothorn carries. If Ferrothorn wasn't what it was in competitive Pokemon, with just being the ultimate setup Pokemon, fire being its only really significant weakness because its physical defense is so good, so fighting isn't really going to do a whole lot to it, really, really helps Ferrothorn. It really does. And when you look at the other options I had, Serperior was a good Pokemon, no doubt about it. And then I've got like Deerling and Maractus and Liavani and Pansage, and it's just it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. A Fungus and a Moongus are decent, but they're not Ferrothorn. I think Ferrothorn's definitely the best. And it gets Power Whip. Power Whip's a really underrated move, even though Ferrothorn is not an offensive Pokemon necessarily. Power Whip is really good. Gen 6. It's Chestnut, but I wish it wasn't. It's Chestnut, but I wish it wasn't. I think Chestnut's one of the worst starters they've ever designed. I think the Generation 6 team worked so hard on Greninja that they let the other 2 starters die. They're like, look, We're really proud of Greninja. We think Greninja looks really, really good. We're unfortunately not going to be able to put the same time and effort into the other 2 starters because we work so hard on Greninja, but people are going to love Greninja so much that it's going to carry that it's not going to matter. And that's exactly what happened when they designed Chestnut. Is he a decent Pokemon? Yeah. He's probably the best grass type available here, but he's not really that good of a Pokemon compared to other stuff on this list. Because Gen 7, we have my boy Decidueye. After disappointing grass starter after disappointing grass starter in Gens 5 and 6, we got a surprise. Because the thing is that Decidueye evolved from Rowlet. Rowlet was a grass flying, and people loved that he had a dual type right out the gates. And people were thinking that grass flying was going to stay. He evolves to Dartrix, and he's still grass flying. And we're like, okay, he's an owl, and he's gonna be, you know, a grass flying type, and he's gonna be really good. And then he becomes a grass ghost type, and the flying disappears, and people are wondering what's going on. And then you see his unique move where he pulls out a bow and arrow and shoots you with it. Come on, man. As silly and gimmicky as that looks, it fits. It fits. They tried to make this Pokemon look like Robin Hood, and that's exactly what they pulled off with that. And I think Decidueye not only is the coolest designed Pokemon in Generation 7, also one of the best, by far and beyond. Generation 8. Rillaboom was a return to good designs again on starters. They did good in Gen 7, they did good in Gen 8. Rillaboom is probably the best Gen 8 design. I do really like Cinderace, but I think Rillaboom is just better overall. It's kind of got like a Donkey Kong vibe with the drum and things like that. Like he's playing. Like, does anybody remember the game Donkey Konga, where you had for the GameCube that had like the 2 little bongo drums that you played it with? I had that back when I was a kid, and I played it a little bit. Where you had the bongo drums. And I believe it was called Donkey Konga on the GameCube. They might have actually had 2 of them. But this is what it reminds me of when I see Rillaboom. I think of Donkey Konga. Generation 9. Wow. It's probably Toedscruel, but I wish it wasn't. Toedscruel, really cool design. It's actually Masquerada, but I like personally, I like Toedscruel more. I think that's why I wanted Toedscruel. Masquerada is the best, though. Like, Masquerada is a dark grass type. It's incredibly fast. It gets really good offensive moves. You can do a lot of really good things with this. I've got zero problem with Masquerada. I think it's good. I just don't like its design. I think they really messed up with the Generation 9 starter designs. I really didn't like that many of them, if any of them. I thought the first forms were good, and then they just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And this was one of those examples, I think, unfortunately. But that's all right. You know, it is what it is. Masquerada is a very good Pokemon nonetheless. But is it the best grass type ever made? No. The best grass type ever made is Sceptile. The best non-legendary grass type ever made is Sceptile. It will always be Sceptile to me. There is nothing that can change my mind. So that's going to about do it here for me. If you guys made it this far, I want you to comment Donkey Kong. All right, if you made it this far in the video, comment Donkey Kong, because we just talked about it earlier. That will let me know how many people made it to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and tomorrow we are breaking away from starters and talking about electric types. Can't wait to do it. I will see you guys tomorrow, same time. Everyone have an excellent day.